All right. Good evening. My name is Niccole Thomas. I am in section 49F of 6356 EDUD under Dr. Cioci. I am back tonight for the video reflection journal assignment number 2. I have the outer space background in the screen because I feel like I am in outer space working with SPSS. Nevertheless, I am working towards success. So let's get started. We're gonna, I already have data pulled up. Already gone into the SPSS file. Let me make sure that I am sharing my screen. It's not sharing. So go back in. And I'll often be checking this because I did have some trouble last time with ensuring that, yes. Let's move me over. All right, just making sure that what I needed was also in the screen. Oh, here we go. All right, so we want to start off with the research question that we're looking at using the primary verb, descriptive or characterizing. So the research question is, what are the characteristics of student attendance among elementary and middle school students participating in the K-12 Student Success Initiative in Texas? And also, I have a secondary question because I need to have a distribution, and I want to have independent and dependent variables. So the question is, what is the distribution of SES status among middle and elementary students in K-12 in the Student Success Initiative in Texas? It is SES status. It is my categorical variable that we're using, and student attendance is going to be my continuous ratio level variable that we're going to use. All right. So as I said in the last video, I went to about 17 minutes. So I wanted to make sure that I try to cut out some of the steps that we did previously. But we're going to start right here with the data editor window. And I looked into I made sure that the variables, the values that I added from my code book, that they were correct. I wanted to be sure that some of the errors were clear, that the errors were clear. So that the charts or the analysis, the preliminary analysis would be correct. All right, so we're back in variable view. This is the view that we can manipulate. And I've already made sure that the labels and the names, they match, but I want to make sure that my labels were correct and they do not call for underscores to be into the variables according to APA 7th edition. So I've been removing the underscores from the labels because we want the output to show up correctly. And just watching from the previous class meeting, I watched Dr. Cooper remove the underscores. Make reference to ensuring that this part aligns with APA format. All right. So our values are correct. And now we need to make sure that the measures are correct. Our nominal, ordinal, and scale values, scale meaning continuous, nominal, not having a specific order, and ordinal, having a specific order. Okay, so student ID, school ID, they're all lined up correctly. I think I want to change grade level because when you look at grade level, they are following a specific order. Go back to grade level and change it to, let's actually change it to order. Glasses on. All right. Academic quarter, which has some string value in it. So let's look at academic quarter. And this is one that we looked at in class. Just a little bit. And if we wanted to, we could put this in some form of order. I'm going to go back over and say that this is order. Right. All right, ACA status has already been changed. Plus, we changed it from low, medium. We assign values. Low was 0. I'm sorry, low was 1. Medium was 2. Was assigned a value of 2 and 3 for high. Right, so let's make sure that the wheels nominal. All right, attendance rate, which is what we'll be looking at today. Attendance rate, reading score, and math, they're all scale. Discipline incidents, let's look at tutoring hours. Tutoring hours, they are scale. So let's change that to scale. All right. Engagement. All right. So now that the data looks correct and we have our measures, we want to make sure that we get the most details about our data sets, the most details. So we're going to run a preliminary analysis where we interpret what the data means. And my question as I go back to it, it talks about what are the characteristics of student attendance among students in elementary and middle school participating in K-12 Student Success Initiative. And we also were looking at our dependent variable, which is going to be SEA status. So as you get ready to perform our analysis, I'm going to go to descriptive statistics. That statistics, then we're going to click on frequencies. So let's look at our categorical variable first. We want to make sure that it is the charts. So you have to use a bar chart for this. Okay. And as we use the bar chart, let's also go up for our all right, let's look at the statistics. I'm sorry. Statistics. Right. So we can do any of the central tendencies. We'll do the mean, which is the average of all of the cases, which is the average of all of the data, and then divided by the number of cases. We look at the median, which is simply the middle value. I'm sorry, it is the middle value. Dribbling. All right, and the mode, just the frequency. What number frequency is the highest? Look at all of these. Because we're looking at our categorical data. Let's look at minimum and maximum values of standard deviation. All right. Let's run the analysis so that we can interpret our data. All right, the number that is, all right, so the output is going to show us two different parts. The first table is going to give us a summary of the variables that we requested, and then the remaining tables are going to give us a breakdown of the variable for the range of responses. So when we look at the standard deviation is 0.7, so it's a positive. Looks like we have the median coming out to be bigger than the mean. All right, which causes a problem for us because we want the this gives us a skewed. This tells us that the data is skewed. I'm sorry. Okay. I need to move the screen back up. So when we look at the descriptive statistics, the descriptive analysis, we see that for the mode, the frequency was 2. And we know that for 2, for the SES status, the 2 represented medium, right? So medium showed up the most for SES status. And when we look at, this is what was missing. But when we look over here for the valid percent, we know that we had some these cells missing on our actual spreadsheet. But when we look at the valid percent, this is what we're going to look at because it took an analysis of the actual it took an analysis, I should say, of the what was actually available. All right. And so when we look here, we see that medium for SES status was at 41%. And now let's look at the picture of what that looks like with our bar chart. And in the bar chart, we notice that the charts, the bars, they're not touching in the bar chart. So let's go back. Let's do another analysis. And this time, let's grab all right, this time let's grab let's explore. Let's grab our continuous variable, which will be attendance rate. Let's move the attendance rate over. All right, trial and error once again. This time, let's look at something attendance rate. This column, add in the students. Okay. We're going to do a chart. We want to do a histogram. So since we want to do a histogram, let's remove the ACS status and only look at our scale measure. Histograms. And so it grade out these chart values at the bottom. And see what it gives us. Attendance rate is so long. We get all the information that it gives to us. All right, it looks like we have an outlier way out here. Look at the shape of the histogram. And it tells us that the mean is 83 and the standard deviation is 20%. When we look at the measures of variability, we know that the standard deviation is simply the average distance from the mean. So it's going to be, I would say 83 is the mean. So we would be above or below 83. So 83 plus 20 is going to give us 103. 83 minus 20 give us 63. So I would say the range is going to be between 63 to 103. It's looking like that we have this. I think it's flat. So we do have a peak. I think it's either or. This is coming out to be a positive skew. All right. So now let's answer our question. All right, I want to take the time to interpret the graphs. So we want to look at the bar chart. We had about close to 4,000 students. And we look at what the mode shows over here. We see that the mode shows that the median SES status had the highest frequency. And it shows also in the bar graph, I'm sorry, at 41.1%. And when we look at our continuous or scale measure for the histogram, we notice that the range, as we said, the range, when I calculated the range, I got between 63 to 103 for the attendance rate. And if you take a look, it looks like this is what we're seeing with the shape. All right. This is what we're seeing with the shape. And so this is where we use the CUS process. So we talked about the mean and the median for this. All right. And we know that the range is simply the max minus the minimum. All right. And it is showing exactly what we calculated. All right, and we have a bit of a tail. It shows that this is negatively skewed. That's what I'm showing. That in the tail sort of points to the left, which means that the attendance rate was high. It was high. Okay. And as you can see, with 4,000 students, you have a lot of data. Median and mode. It is once again showing us that the median just a little bit higher than the mean, and that indicates a negative skew, symmetry, a little bit skewed, and it tells us that standard deviation. I hope that I explained the graph or interpreted the graphs as far as my research question. Let me go back to the research question. The research question is asking us about the student attendance, the characteristics of the student attendance. And we also use the dependent variable of SES status, and we know that students enrolled SES status, it showed the highest frequency according to student attendance. So now I'm going to go ahead and save it. This is already in .svg extension file. So I'm going to save this as training. Today is the second, 22nd. Oops. And save this. Make sure that I add this to my Lamar file. And stop sharing. Get ready to end the video. I'm afraid of how long it may be. Good night.